with a formal proposal. So the next steps of the deal are coming and Chelsea want to go for. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, we have some things to say on Chelsea. More potential signings are coming. Ugarte and Man United, what's going on, but also Julián, Alvarez, and something to add on Anthony Gordon. Let's jump into it together. And so guys, as always, here to discuss about transfers. It was an important day for Arsenal. Finally, Riccardo Calafiori becomes officially a new Arsenal player after deal completed with Bologna, 5-year contract, so everything okay between Arsenal, Bologna, and the player who has finally signed as new Arsenal player, and also a player is leaving Arsenal, and the player is Emil Smith-Rowe, who signs for Fulham. The deal is done, £27 million plus 7 in add-ons, so a package of £34 million. Payment terms are very good. This was also a really important detail for Arsenal to give the green light. The player accepted after several very positive conversations with Marco Silva, the manager of Fulham, who made the difference in this story because many clubs around Europe wanted to sign Emil Smith-Rowe, especially in England, Crystal Palace, and not only, but Marco Silva had a big impact, and so the player is on his way to undergo medical test and sign as new Fulham player. Remember Arsenal interest in Mikel Merino. Remember that Chelsea are always very active on the market, and for Chelsea, we can say that they keep recruiting talents for the future. They signed Philip Jorgensen as goalkeeper. Everything is okay from Villarreal, 24.5 million euros, already an exclusive. Here we go. Days ago, the contract is also in place, but they want one more goalkeeper. Yes, one more for the future, not for the first team. So what I'm going to tell you now is not going to impact the situation of Philip Jorgensen, but the name is Mike Penders, born in 2005, playing for Genk, and so a big opportunity for the future because he's considered a very talented goalkeeper, very tall, born in 2005 and followed by many important clubs around Europe. Chelsea plan is to sign the player and eventually let him stay at the club on loan at least for one more season. Let me say that Chelsea have still not decided whether they want to proceed or not with this deal. They are having contacts, so they are considering this possibility, assessing all the details of the deal in order to understand whether they want to proceed or not. The decision will be made soon, but for sure Mike Penders is in the list of Chelsea. And Chelsea, in the next days, will try to advance also another deal I already told you, and it's about Gabriel Mack, born in 2008. This talented player from Gremio, can play as number 10, can play also as a winger where needed, but more kind of number 10 from what I'm told. He's very talented, very good player, and Chelsea already presented the project to the player. It was 2 weeks ago when you told you about that, but now Chelsea want to advance also on club side with a formal proposal. So the next steps of the deal are coming, and Chelsea want to go for Gabriel Mack and will decide soon for Mike Penders. So building for the future, while you can find here on the channel also the situation explained for Victor Osimhen and for all the other opportunities. Don't forget also about the left winger and the striker that Chelsea want to bring to the club. And then guys, important to say something also on another situation. Today, Julián Alvarez spoke in public about the situation at Manchester City. He confirmed that after the Olympics, he wants to assess the situation with the club. Meanwhile, his agents are already having regular conversations with Manchester City to decide what's going to happen in the final weeks of the summer transfer window. At the moment, let me clarify one thing. Something I told you since June. Man City intention is to keep Julián Alvarez at the club, is what the board wants, is what the manager, Pep Guardiola, wants. So they want to continue with Julián and they don't want to lose him. But it's also important to say that the conversation is needed to clarify to Julián his role in the squad. Julián said even today that he wants to play more, especially in the big games. He said, yes, my percentage of games is good, but I want to appear when the game is important, when the match is a big match. I want to contribute in this kind of games. So let's see how the exchange will be. What I can tell you is that Man City keep not giving a price tag to Julián Alvarez because their intention is to keep the player at the club. So only a crazy proposal could change the situation, but so far Manchester City insists on their position to continue with the player, asking him to patiently waiting, understanding his role in the club, which is still a really important role because since he joined as a talent from South America, he became an important player for Manchester City. And so, while interest is still there from several clubs, now the idea of Man City is to talk with the agent of the player again this week and then with the player at the end of the Olympics. So this is going to be an important time to understand more on the future of Julián Alvarez. Mentioning about offensive, talented players, I wanted to return tonight on an important important player for Newcastle, Anthony Gordon, a really important player for Newcastle. In the final days of June, when they were in trouble with financial fair play, Newcastle were approached by Liverpool for Anthony Gordon. There was an exchange. The player was keen on the move. This is important to say. So at that time, Anthony Gordon gave the green light over potential move to Liverpool, but Newcastle decided not to accept the proposals and not to accept. It was just an exchange, just a conversation, not a formal bid. But Liverpool wanted to make a proposal, but that was not what Newcastle expected for Anthony Gordon. So the deal didn't advance at that point. What I wanted to tell you tonight is that what I'm hearing is that the interest of Liverpool in Anthony Gordon remains a strong interest, remains a concrete interest. He's a player they really rate internally, a player they really like, and so the name of Anthony Gordon remains high on Liverpool list. Then we know that for this summer they are looking at midfield, they are looking at centre-back position also, so there are other things to do for Liverpool in this summer transfer window. They are considering to do these things, so we will see when and how and if Liverpool will decide to advance, but what's important to say is that in case they decide to do something in offensive positions, Anthony Gordon remains a player they really rate, they really like, and so internally they are discussing about the situation of Anthony Gordon because they keep believing that he could be a fantastic player for the future of Liverpool, but again, the problem could be in valuation with Newcastle because he's a really important player for Newcastle and they don't have intention to make a normal price for Anthony Gordon. It has to be a big price for him in order to give a potential green light. But at the moment, Newcastle really want to keep the player at the club, and so let's see what Liverpool can do if Liverpool decide to do something on this deal. Meanwhile, for Newcastle, today we had reports in England of a deal done for Malik Thiaw from AC Milan. What I can tell you is that the agent has been honest. Gordon Stipic, speaking to Sky Sports, he said that it's not true and it's the reality because Newcastle really like the player. Malik Thiaw is in the list of Newcastle since June. So already in June I told you that Newcastle had some conversation for him, but what I'm hearing is that they've not sent any formal proposal to Milan yet, so it's still early for this story. We can confirm the appreciation since June, but still nothing else. What we have to mention is Manuel Ugarte. What I want to tell to my United fans, I told you about the leaked Mazraoui in the video from today. You can find everything. Both players said yes to Manchester United. Manu Ugarte said yes to Man United almost 2 weeks ago. He wants to go to United. He agreed on personal terms, and he's also waiting for Man United to reach an agreement with Paris Saint-Germain. What I'm hearing is that PSG could also be open to a loan with obligation to buy for Manuel Ugarte, but still an obligation, still a mandatory clause. Not a loan with buy option, at least at the moment. Then we know things can change in the market. But at the moment, PSG want obligation or permanent transfer. And so, let's see what's going to happen. But the player is waiting and still hoping to go to Manchester United. His priority for this summer. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories. Julián Alvarez, what should he do? But also Manu Ugarte, Anthony Gordon, Liverpool or Newcastle, and then Chelsea still recruiting talents for the future. This remains the idea. What do you think about this strategy and policy? Let me know your opinion here in comments. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.